or two.
Thank you, that's Ken Corder. And I might just speak briefly to the bill as a whole before I get into the amendments.
Not really.
I'll speak to the gist of the bill and the intention of the bill.
Okay.
And I reckon we support the bill from this side of the House, and we did previously when it was in the Chamber the last occasion. And I've reviewed the amendments from the channel, and they all seem to make sense, and we'll be supporting those as well. I don't see any issue with them. As I said, we did support this bill, and when its passage through the House the last time. I just want to take a moment to recognise, because it is on the topic of science and innovation, and the bill obviously is the copyright bill and is implementing various I suppose directives and updating them and related materials, and that's obviously important. But just to take a moment while we're on the subject of innovation and intellectual property and science, just to recognise I've come out of a briefing, cross-party briefing, hosted by Dr. Michael Harty, a member of this House Deputy, and Dr. Michael Harty, on science and research, and many of the topics in this bill and related matters were discussed. I want to acknowledge as well the Minister has previously hosted a similar forum around a table, cross-party support for science and research. So I want to acknowledge the Minister's interest and involvement in that as well. But I suppose there are still some issues in terms of our funding footprint, in terms of not hitting the 2.5% GDP for research activities that we aim to do in our Horizon 2020 or Innovation 2020, the balance between basic research and applied research, and I suppose the need for a new PRTLI type programme to succeed, to come through, which was there previously, as it was a very important support for intellectual property development and innovation, and has not been, unfortunately, I suppose, implemented in the last number of years, but that need is there. So just to give a flavour, again, it's timely because we had these discussions over the last hour as part of that emerging cross-party group, and I know the Minister is interested and supportive of what I'm saying as well. I think he is anyway. So I think it's an opportune time to mention those. Speaking to the amendments in particular, I just want to query with the Minister, clarify, from my reading the amendments from the Seanad, and I know we had discussions at the time, and one of the amendments that I had put down, which was passed by this House on that last occasion, was around creating I suppose, an internet archive or a digital library of the .ie domain. So we have archives and we have library archives and copyright archives of printed literature in most cases, and we have, I suppose, certain copyright authorities, and some of the universities and national libraries would be part of that. And one of the suggestions that had come through from a number of eminent researchers, including those at Trinity College and their library, that we should do the same for the internet in terms of archiving .ie information, to create a digital footprint and a digital archive as, I suppose, the next wave in that sort of copyright trajectory. And that was done, and that was passed in the Dáil when I proposed, and I thank the Minister for his engagement on the time, and we tweaked it a little bit to get it right, and then we passed it. But I understand that when I went to the Seanad, and it is that there was I suppose it was revisited, and maybe there's an attempt to maybe push it a little further, which I understand the intention of. I had, I suppose, organised the amendment in the form of a report on the feasibility of doing so, because I'm conscious of money messages and other constraints around legislation. But if I understand it correctly, the Seanad then, I suppose, attempts a more direct approach, which, if I'm reading the amendment correctly, hasn't maybe worked out, to put it that way, and I suppose is now being amended again to come back around. So I might just ask the Minister will be familiar with the amendment from the last time about this digital archive, and I said we did pass it in the Dáil. The Seanad had a separate approach to it. Where does that sit now, Minister? You might just clarify that for me. Where are we on that particular proposal? Thank you.
Now,